Lots of love, love. Got 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 lots of love, love.
Feel my heart, it's beat tight. All my body's breathing, it's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beat tight. All my body's breathing, it's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. Let's free fall. Let's free fall.
Good afternoon and/or evening, everybody. Welcome back to the CGL playoffs. I mean, we've got an interesting match here today, not just because of what I'm doing, but a couple of really good teams here in Whiteboy Primal and Nocturn Red. I am joined today by Hunter Tane. How are you feeling, Hunter?
You know what? I've had a sobering day thus far. It's been nice seeing a couple of interesting stories today. It's really brightened up my day, but you're right about one thing. We do have a heck of a match on our hands. Both of these teams did really well in the regular season, and this is a slight bit of a revenge match between these two teams, so honestly, they're both raring to go. They should both be very good. They performed very well. We had Whiteboy Primal, who ended up, I believe, going 6-2. Nocturn Red went 5-2. Since Whiteboy Primal competed in the Stage 1 tournament, so they had that extra wind under their belt. So both really good teams, honestly. And this is going to come off as a caster curse right away. We should be in for a really good and really close matchup here today.
And you know what? I hope so, because I don't know if y'all can tell, I'm not at the regular setup. I am at the Maverick Travel Center. My car blew up during a road trip, so I figured I'd pick up a match while I was sitting out here waiting to get picked up, and turning this gas station into a cast station here today. So yeah, it's gonna be hopefully a pretty good match here today, as we do have our first map pick. It is going to be Ilios. Hunter, what are you thinking about Ilios?
Ilios, like a lot of different control maps, it is very good for a large range of comps you can run. Something like, well, you might end up running something more of a brawl kind of style, though dive is more preferable on a map like Lighthouse. And Ruins, you can kind of run a lot of anything, but we see a lot of Widowmaker come out on that map. You could run a hard brawl if you want to, so it's definitely a large variety that we can see here, and especially with this being EU, I think a lot of these teams might move towards that brawl-centric style instead. Honestly, that's what I'm fully expecting here, is a lot of brawl to come out, except for maybe Lighthouse, where we might see something like the Winston or the Diva. The real question kind of comes down to how much these teams want to counterplay. We know something like Bastion Orisa is really good right now. It still is, despite like the slight nerfs that they've been given, so it's definitely a super viable comp. So honestly, the door's a little bit open here for interpretation.
Yeah, and I think as far as tanks go, the most popular two, or the most popular one right now, I think is Sigma. I think provides a lot at the moment. A lot of damage. Keep yourself at arm's length from the enemy team, and the only way to really stop a Sigma poke comp is to get up in their face. And Reinhardt's really good at that. I think Reinhardt's probably the best at it. But we'll see what these teams are going to come out on here, and it will be through on the.
Yeah, it's looking like right now, Whiteboy Primal seems to be slightly more honest with the comp they're hoping to run. Nocturn Red likely going to switch over to this brawl style instead. They're teasing the Reinhardt. I think we might see this brawl versus this poke style matchup, but we're going to see here in a moment. Luckily, we are going to see a couple of the swaps come through. Gilix going over to the Widowmaker instead. Not a lot going to be able to oppose them here, but Nocturn Red hoping to rally and take the position first before Whiteboy Primal can fully set up.
And it's also worth noting, Gilix is flexing here today. Usually a flex support player on the DPS for this match, at least for now. But we're getting into this early fight here. Gilix still in spawn, unfortunately, but Gucci with that beautiful World Cup skin on the Sojourn, looking to find an early pick here with the Railgun. Lazy about half HP, but not going to go down here just yet, getting healed up by the Baptiste, and it's going to be Opaques that starts it off with a headshot onto Gucci. A great first pick for Nocturne Red, and they're going to go on the offensive here. Lazy, getting a little bit low, still holding up that shield and going to put Gilix into the wall, and that should be Nocturne Red taking the first fight, but Gucci's not done. They're going to burn down Opaques with that focusing beam. And Gucci coming alive here late in the fight. 25% for Nocturne Red. It's just the supports and Soliman, and the supports are going to have to go out, and Gucci with 4.
Yeah, you gotta give Gucci a ton of credit there, being able to come through. We saw the shield from Lazy get used extensively. Nocturne Red could have done a lot better with just hanging back after getting that first pick, trying to get some more ult charges. Right now we see Lazy with that shatter. They want to try to get aggressive on Tro and try to force out that shield as fast as they can. That way they can set up for an effective shatter.
Out here, it will be the window, and Crew, beautiful wall from Soliman. And with that, you know, the response from Whiteboy Primal with the window of their own. Nocturne Red's just going to walk right past it, but a great duplicate from Gucci is going to put Rodri and Opaques in the dirt. And Gucci taking over on Ilios Ruins right now.
Yeah, Gucci already having a heck of a game, and it's the same story. Nocturne Red get the first pick, and then Lazy tries to go in pretty deep without the rest of their team directly behind them, and at that point, they end up just being taken out again. And they still have a lot of ultimates as well. You have the Overclock and the Freeze coming up. The Shadow's ready to go. The only thing you're really going to have to worry about is this Flux coming on very shortly. All Lazy has to do, they need to go in aggressive on this fight, set up for the Shatter, and come together, but Opie going out first is going to stop that from happening.
Yeah, you know, I feel like we're gonna be saying this guy's name a lot, but Gucci absolutely dominating here on Ilios 2 in this fight, and probably not quite gonna make it 3. But Whiteboy Primal looking scary right now as Gillix puts Rodri in the dirt. Right in another shot. The flex support player looking scary with the accuracy.
Yeah, nearly getting the 3K there as well. Almost had that own headshot. Now Nocturne Red, they have to force their way on this point. They have a lot of ultimates to do so right now, so they're just going to have to try to make their way there. They're going off on the side to try to get Gillix, and right now they just need to be able to get to this point touch.
But Crew is going to just put Rodri into the dirt, up and down. That's probably going to do it for Nocturne Red as the Blizzard comes out, but Gucci and Ilpi are going to put this away. Crew does not go down, and 100-30 Whiteboy Primal take Ruins.
Yeah, and Whiteboy Primal ended up playing that really well. Now, Gillix and Gucci did have a lot of clutch plays that brought back a lot of those fights, but I think it was the separation of Nocturne Red that ended up kind of being their downfall. They're a comp that needs to stay together. They need to work together, go on a target as all 5. It can't just be Lazy going, or just Sully going, or just Opie. You have to all come together on that style of comp, and Whiteboy Primal did a really good spreading apart. That way, they had to spread themselves apart just to get anybody. And Whiteboy Primal took full advantage of that, and especially Gucci who was non-stop during that entire round. An excellent job starting out here for Whiteboy Primal.
And Nocturne Red gonna change it up a little bit, and I'm not surprised at all that Whiteboy Primal, they're gonna keep what worked on Ruins going into Lighthouse, but Nocturne Red, you know, the dive a little more, we'll just say good on Lighthouse here, as we see Lazy already up on Whiteboy Primal's high ground, trying to get the Sniper Monkey going, and a little bit of damage. And, you know, Rodri trying to build up to that nano boost, but Lazy so low. That'll be a lot of healing for the Ana. Can they clean up on Lazy? It doesn't look like they will. Deep receives a rock to the face by Crew. And Nocturne Red's gonna get the first flip, but Lazy goes down here. So, you know, not looking great for Nocturne Red in the long term, as Whiteboy Primal, you know, they're gonna take the point here, but Soliman gonna be able to take down Gillix late.
Yeah, right now, and it's the same similar scenario. Nocturne Red's comp does require a lot of them to move onto the same targets together, so Lazy needs to be able to set up a dive on this Baptiste or on this break quickly, and hopefully not be taken out, but Deep is going to find Gucci first. That's going to even out the fight.
But, I mean, Nocturne Red are without their tank now. Captain Trash and Gucci have gone down, but Gillix has evened up the fight. Ilpi, under a lot of pressure by Deep, does go down to the Lucio. But Opie is looking a little bit worse for wear. I think they're locked in a duel with Gillix over there. But Opie going to put down the Widowmaker, and that should be Nocturne Red taking the fight.
Yep, and it's just going to be the cleanup here right now. They want to try to catch as many members as they can. Tro will be devastating to lose this late into the engagement, but it's looking like they're going to survive a bit. But I'd be careful. Lazy's behind the shield. They get caught around it. They're not going to pull the corner in time. Again, they get too aggressive on their own. Whiteboy Primal, the perfect opportunity to move up as the Flux is going to be activated.
Flux comes out, doesn't hit anything, but Opie with the nano boost I mean, a great accretion from Crow there. You know, they're not able to take it down, and a great stick from Suleiman is gonna put Captain Crash down. But Crow is happy to even it up, as they've done it so many times before as the overclock comes out from Opie. Not gonna find anything, but you know what? Gucci will. Gonna take down Opie here, and that should be Whiteboy Primal, despite everyone being so low HP here on the point. It should be them winning this fight out.
Yeah, and I wonder if Lazy might try to touch with this Primal. They're going to go on, and they should really just accept their death, not waste the Primal. They're indeed going to hold it. And that's just the devastation right there. You try to push up. You managed to get people back after making that mistake, but by that point, Whiteboy Primal had already taken over a lot of the high grounds. Anyways, that's what they wanted to do, and Gucci does not want to let the pace go into the fervor of Nocturne Red, finding that pick, and now they just have to reset once more.
I mean, as soon as I saw Gucci go up and over that building, I knew it was over for Opie. You know, 5 sticks on the Sojourn. The almost a one-shot combo there onto Suleiman. The Tracer will be able to get away here. The window does come out from Ilpi. And, you know, they're trying to kite it. The jump not going to go very far for Lazy here. Still does have the Primal Rage as a get-out-of-jail-free card. So we'll be interested to see, but, you know, I said we're going to be saying this name a lot, and we have said it so many times, and he continues to show out. It's Gucci with the first pick here. I mean, oh my goodness. Deep goes down, great sticks from Gucci. The duplicate out, Flux is able to take down the Ana there. Rodri goes down, and in all honesty, I do believe that is going to put Helios in the books. They're going to get a touch. It will be Suleiman, but I mean, okay, no. Suleiman was able to stall long enough for Deep to come back with the sound barrier, but it's not enough. Gucci fries at Deep, and who else but Deep to finish off this map? Whiteboy Primal takes Helios 2-0.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic performance, especially if we want to talk about the DPS line over on the side of Whiteboy Primal. You know, we saw Gillix with a couple of really good headshots throughout both of the rounds, but Gucci honestly has to be the MVP of this map and this map thus far. They come in on this copy. Look at this right here. Just the way they can come out, make these picks happen. They made this game their own in this first round, in this first map, and I expect them to keep up that performance very consistently.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gucci is probably the scariest thing right now. If I'm Nocturne Red, you got to figure out a way to keep that DPS player in check. But it is going to be their map pick going into hybrid. It'll be Nocturne Red's map pick, that is. In all honesty, I'm kind of expecting King's Row, simply because I think 90% of the matches that I've casted over the last month have gone to King's Row on hybrid. Actually, specifically, with the exception of this match, my last 6 matches have gone Lijiang Tower, King's Row, Suravasa as the first 3 maps. So I'm expecting King's Row here going into map 2.
Yeah, and it's not even just because it's a popular map at this point. It's just the fact that we just saw Nocturne and Red run into a Sigma comp for 2 rounds and just kind of got their heads put on a swivel. Like, it's a little unfortunate because we saw fights where they got the advantage. There were a ton of fights where they managed to get the first pick, but just because you find the first pick doesn't mean you're going to win the fight. You need to have the follow-up. You need to know who you're going on directly after that. You know when to fall back and not to keep pushing into the enemy line. We saw that a couple times from Lazy, who went in pretty deep to try to find extra kills, but it's just really hard when a team like this knows how to set back up so quickly, even after losing a person. And it's that kind of like that teamwork, that composition you have, that's just really going to work out for you and really make you a better team, where it's not just down to your mechanical skill, but how you work together. That's a big part of Overwatch, and we've definitely seen that so far from Whiteboy Primal.
Yeah, I mean, Nocturne Red going to have to get something going here to not be put at a 2-map deficit. Speaking of maps, we do have our map pick here. It'll be Blizzard World. So, you know, the EU boys changing it up here. Helios Blizzard World. That's unique. I haven't seen that in a while, but yeah. You know, it does though. If they want to run the dive, I think it can work, especially on the first 2 points, but it just kind of feels like this map favors Whiteboy Primal Sigma Poke.
Yeah, but they have to have something in mind. Nocturne has to have something in mind as we are going to see a swap come through here for this map coming up. We're going to have Gisan coming in for deep instead. Now, it's looking like they're likely going to run a double flex support lineup, so we could see something like the BAP Yari or the BAP Kiriko instead on Blizzard World. It is kind of an ideal comp, and honestly, if I'm expecting anything, I think maybe they just run the Sigma comp back. I think that Nocturn went in with the plan to run Brawl on to Ilios and thought it could work, but it clearly just didn't. So maybe they can just try to beat Whiteboy Primal at their own game.
Yeah, and I just feel like that is a tall task here, especially because Whiteboy Primal, they just executed, right? Like, Crow never got super aggressive on the Sigma. Only got caught out once by a Great Wall from Suliman. And, you know, in the rest of those fights, it just felt like Whiteboy Primal were where they needed to be. And, you know, very rarely were they out of position. You know, Gilix, like I said, is coming in as a flex player on the DPS. I think, you know, didn't see it a lot in the kill feed on Ilios, but when we did see Gilix in the kill feed, they were impactful kills, right? I mean, that's what Widowmaker is. It's feast or famine, and sometimes you eat a little more than you don't, right?
Yeah.
But like, you're right. Nocturne Red's gonna try and answer the Sigma with a Sigma.
Yeah, and it's not horribly surprising at the end of the day. The big question is going to be that DPS battle. We saw Gilix and Gucci already do really well so far on the Widow and the Echo, respectively. And I'm wondering what Nocturne is going to run here DPS-wise. I think Opie is going to stay over on the Sojourn, but Suliman, I'd be a little concerned if they're going to try to still make this May comp work.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, okay, Nocturne Red, you know, teasing us with a little bit of Ramatra there. You know, not the best tank on the planet right now, unfortunately. Cool character, bad hero right now. I think only a step above Roadhog. But Gilix still on the Widowmaker, so confident in it, these one-shots. It's basically the same thing we saw on Ilios. So, I mean, the only... okay, Rodri has switched over to the Iari, so we'll see how this is going to work out. But Suliman forced to use that ice block early in the fight. I assume Gucci wanted to finish that off, and while not quite good enough to keep Crow on that high ground, you know, just walk over it, and it's going to be Gilix that starts us off on Blizzard World pick on to Gisanis. Opie, though, does trade it out here, but slowly but surely, Whiteboy Primal are going to take this fight into their own hands, and Gucci and Crow are just going to work right now, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Nocturne Red, they had a good thing going there for a moment. They were attempting to wall off the high ground to kind of do like a pseudo rotation onto the point, try to force Gilix out of position the best that they could. And for a moment, it did work. It was the point when they separated too hard and their fights became uneven that they weren't able to make that work. They found a singular pick, but it means nothing when all five are already back, and they're going to be ready to go into this next fight and likely going to be looking to do the exact same thing.
I mean, Gucci has the duplicate ready to go here. But Lace is going to start us out with a pick onto Gilix. He gets traded onto Gisan. So, you know, you'll take that if you're Whiteboy Primal, the Widowmaker, a little less uptime overall. And the Baptiste super important to keep the team alive, deal some of that supplementary damage. Lazy's Grasp is gone, got the accretion from Crow. And Gucci just continues to find pick after pick, and Crow has dropped down into the face of Lazy here. What comes out? The counter flux from Lazy. Lazy gets saved by the Immortality Field. The Blizzard by Suliman is going to help Lazy clean up on the flux.
Lazy has a pair on them for sure. They were in the flux. They decided to throw it back. They put all the faith in the support line that they were going to be able to keep Lazy up, and they did absolutely that. The question is Whiteboy Primal going to try to touch here with 2 ticks down? I don't think they're going to have the opportunity to. They are going to find a pick, but there is no touch there, so Nocturne Primal managed to, you know, win the first point, albeit losing a lot of members despite the fact that they've already capped.
Yeah, and it looks like Whiteboy Primal, they're going to take this aggression here, try and hold at the choke. Crow, a little bit out of position here. You know, but, you know, everybody on this Whiteboy Primal looking very, very strong.
Yeah, so Nocturn Red probably want to take rotation out to left side to be able to start out this fight. I think it's going to be really tough if you try to come in too deep on them here on this right side, or perhaps even down the center, as we're going to start seeing the... Oh, no, the sights come up, and now we have the trade. Gillis going to be down first, and now Nocturne have to take advantage of this.
Yeah, it's a great trade from Gucci there on the Echo, and Crow and Gucci are going back to work here in the spawn door of Nocturne Red. I mean, Whiteboy Primal it feels like they can't be stopped at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you want to try to accomplish here in this situation. Crow just is getting run down now. They're finally getting somewhere, but just like that, it's another pick. They start getting progress, and they just lose one of the supports. It becomes so difficult to win a fight in that scenario, but the sun's going to come up. They want to try to turn this fight right now, and they're definitely doing so.
They get 2 with the Captive Sun, but, you know, Whiteboy Primal will respond with 3 in turn. So I think it's looking like a 2v2 here now. It is Ilpy and Gucci left on the point. You know, smartly, they're just going to back off here.
Yeah, and Whiteboy Primal, they end up taking out a lot from them in that scenario. They go for that. Gucci just managed to get out somehow. They play that perfectly. They're going to try to go for the health pack, but they're in such a bad situation. And now Lazy's actually going to get run down instead, and they're going to be paying the price for trying to go for that engagement. Gucci manages to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, stay alive, take down the tank, it works, right?
Oh.
Flux gonna come out from crew. That will be a pick onto Rodri, whoever gets it. And I didn't even see Gisan over there in the Flux, but goes down to the Flux, and you know, a little bit of protection from Lazy, gonna keep Opie alive, and you know, business as usual for Whiteboy Primal.
Yeah, and now Nocturne, they have 4 ults coming up into this fight. They have an opportunity to run something here, but the winner's gonna come out for Ilp first, and so now they're gonna try to hold them in this position for as long as they can. Force more time to be burned off this clock. Remember, that is their goal right now. Burn as much as they can, and they're gonna be burning a lot more if potentially somebody gets picked up with the Immortality Field, gonna keep them alive. But Opie still managed to be the first one to drop.
There's the pick. I mean, Gilix cleaning up on Opie, some damage from everybody there, but Captain Crash, you know, the Batsies almost stayed alive there, but the whip shot good for the pick, and Suliman stuck between an ice block and a hard place there. It'll be a freeze onto Crow, but Gucci and Captain Crash they're just so good at staying alive in these precarious situations. And
Lazy
is gonna lose.
Lazy, no.
1v1. Lazy, Ilpy still going against Lazy, can't hit the shot. Gonna go down to Ilpy, and Captain Crash and Gucci took care of business in the back line.
There's no way. They were doing so well, hopping around, trying to stay out of the easy shots as much as possible, and now Nocturne has 1 fight remaining, and they have so much distance they still have to cover. They need to try to open this up with either the Flux or that window. You need to find somebody out of position here, and right now, it's going to be Gilix out of position way in the back line, so now there's just going to be the 4v4 taking place on point. And Nocturne Red, they don't need to hold onto these ultimates that hard. They need to use something to open this up, and it's going to be Opie on the overclock to try to make something happen.
Yeah, they're using everything here. The rally, the window, the overclock, but nothing is any good. The Flux comes out from Crow, and more than likely we're gonna get a second Flux from the side, and Gilix with a headshot onto Suliman. The Tracer goes down here, and you know, Gucci didn't get the Flux off, but Gucci did kill 2. And that will be Whiteboy Primal absolutely stuffing it to Nocturne Red.
I think we know what comp Whiteboy Primal are good at. I think we have figured this out straightforward.
Yeah, I said it, right?
Yeah,
Sigma's
you said
the best tank in the game right now in organized play.
100%, and it's definitely showing it right here. Tro did a phenomenal job on that Sigma. Make sure how to stay in position, make sure to use their shield correctly, and not just using it selfishly just for themselves, but making sure to cut people off from not only their heals, but from their other DPS to cut off a lot of these sight lines. That's what makes a good Sigma right there, and honestly, Nocturne Red, they weren't even doing a terrible job of what they were trying to do. They were trying to spread apart, trying to find somebody that was just in a bad position, but nobody outside of maybe Gilix was in a bad position, and it can't really be a bad position if you're hitting all of your shots. Gilix just was not missing over there on the side. I don't know, besides maybe 1 fight, that they ever really got taken out of their position playing near that first point spawn.
I mean, that's about as aggressive as a position that you can take as a Widowmaker on the defense, right? But like, if you're gonna commit to trying to take down the Widowmaker, like, you gotta commit to taking down the Widowmaker, and sending Soliman, you know, traditionally the Tracer is seen as a character that can, you know, duel the Widowmaker, but Gilix wasn't having any of it, right? I mean, playing so well despite being, you know, having to fill in for a missing player here on Whiteboy Primal, it just feels like they haven't skipped a beat despite that. But now Nocturne Red has returned to the dive composition here with Lazy and Sully on the Winston and Tracer respectively. And I mean, Whiteboy Primal don't have far to go as we get into this first fight on the point. Crow will get antied up here. A good immortality by Ilpy to keep the tank alive there. And you're just throwing those Hyper Spears up onto the high ground, trying to get a little bit of damage in here, a little bit of chip. And Gucci is just about ready to jump on them, but it's Opie that takes down Ilpy first. It is traded in kind with a pick on to Rodri. So Gucci is trying to get this Soldier 76 of Opie down on the high ground and not getting healed. Has to drop down the stealth heal station. Opie finally able to take it down Gilix, but Gucci still behind them, ready to go. Does go down in the end, and Crow and Captain Prash will not be able to get it done this time.
Yep, a lot of the credit there has to go to Opie. They were managing to stay up on the high ground. They managed to, I believe, 2 or 3 final blows of their own during that fight, and it works out really well. The one problem, though, is that this seems like the kind of comp that you would want to run something more on that offense when you had the opportunity to dive somebody that was out of position, and now they have to let Whiteboy Primal get onto the point, take their positions before they can do a lot, because playing out in the open on their side is going to be so incredibly difficult. And Lazy, you kind of see them already starting to lose a lot of health here and there, and the best thing they can do is stay alive and keep a hold of this high ground. They cannot afford to lose anybody during this upcoming fight. Like that.
Well, Gilix is gone down. Soliman did not have the recall. Used it much earlier, and Gilix and Gucci continue to show off in this game. And the Nano Boost goes out, and the Nano Boost user goes down. And Lazy has to pop the Primal Rage to try and keep this fight alive, but it's just Lazy able to throw Ilpy off the map. But Gilix with another great headshot, and another great headshot. The DPS line for the side of Nocturne Red goes down, and Gucci is happy to come in and clean up Captain Prash, sending their counterpart into the afterlife.
Yeah, and it's once again, Whiteboy Primal, they played that extremely well. Nocturne Red didn't do that bad of a job either. Opie ends up getting caught off, and Sullivan just did not have that recall to be able to survive. And now, Whiteboy Primal, with all the space they got during that fight, they're going to be able to take a lot of angles. You just see Gilix over there on the side with those sights ready to go. And remember, Nocturne Red, they are not far from having to stop this. It's less than 30 meters and counting. Somebody is going to have to be able to drop on this point here in a moment. And it might have to be Lazy, but solely going to find the first pick. The Flux going to come out directly afterwards. They have to try to get rid of Cho, and they will do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big investment for Whiteboy Primal here. Despite Crow going down, Gucci's able to take down Opie. The duplicate does fade away eventually, but, you know, Gucci, maybe a little bit of an overcommitment there. You've been playing well all game. Think you can get the hero play off. Unfortunately here for Whiteboy Primal, it does not work out that way. But Ilpy has returned with the amplification matrix. Does throw that down. Gets them an extra, you know, 15, 20 meters here. You know, Gilix has been absolutely lights out. 2 headshots. Takes down the DPS line of Nocturne Red once again. And that is going to do it. Whiteboy Primal go up 2-0 over Nocturne Red. They win Blizzard World.
Yeah, and win it kind of decisively, too. Nocturne Red, you know, they had a couple of really good fights in there. Someone type GG. Let's go. But, yeah, they had a couple of really good fights in there. You see, like, this Flux play right here. This is when they do this counterplay. When they get confident and they try to make things happen, they can win fights. It is when you become overconfident, or they try really hard to get more people than they need to win a fight or win an engagement. We saw that a lot on Ilios. We saw it a couple times over here on Blizzard World. And this is kind of the restraint that Whiteboy Primal has. They know when to go in. They know when to hold back to bring it back in. And honestly, this might just be a big a DPS issue as well, you know. We are seeing some good plays here and there from the side of Nocturne Red DPS-wise, but it, you can't take anything away from Gilix. You just can't. They went wild on that map. We've seen them on the Widowmaker earlier on Ilios, and it's just a really phenomenal job thus far. And they're a big backbone, it seems to be, on this Whiteboy Primal squad. But yeah, definitely so. Definitely very
Oops,
impressive. Oh, we have an uh-oh alert. A bit of an uh-oh alert. I'll just continue for a moment here. Whenever
Yeah,
you're ready
yeah,
to
no,
hop
I
in.
got it. I'm
All
here. I'm
good?
here. I'm here.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I mean, perks of gas station casting, huh? But for now, we're gonna take it to a break. We'll come back in a few minutes. After no break. Okay, we're not going to a break. We're going to map 3 here. It's gonna be Flashpoint and Nocturn Red's pick. I've been upset here twice by the map picks here. I would be surprised if once again we do get upset. Servas is just way more popular than New Junk City, so I kind of expect.
Yeah, it's a slight variation of comps between these two maps. I think enough time has passed to where we have figured out what works better on Flashpoint maps, and it's been pretty undisputed that the brawl style is typically king, but it's not impossible to run that kind of Sigma style map. But if you're going to run it, you probably want to take it to a map like Servasa. So, maybe that plays into the favor a little bit more to head over to New Junk City. If you're on the side of Nocturne Red, maybe you have one more comp that you still kind of have that you think you could pull out. We haven't seen any Jugger Queen so far, but she's still pretty popular in a lot of regards. It's just, I don't know. It's up in the open to what they want to pick. That's what I would pick if I was them, but, so far we have not been very correct when it comes to what maps are going to get picked.
Yeah, I've only been talking about the maps because I've just seen so much of the same 3 maps. I'm happy to get a little bit of variation coming in here today. I think we do have a map pick.
We do have a map pick. What's it going to be?
Oh. If Boom has it, it'll be Servasa. Hey, we get there, right?
Yeah, I am wrong once again.
It's just more popular than 2. Hey, we get there.
It is more popular.
I'm not though. I'll take that to the bank.
But you're right. It is.
Yeah.
There you go. But it is. It's definitely one of the more popular 2 of the map. It is the Flashpoint that opens up a little bit more to comp variation. I think that. Honestly, Whiteboy Primal is not going to stop running the Sigma at this point, especially now that we're going to Servasa. I just think there's no chance they change it up. The real question is what we're going to see on the side of Nocturne Red instead. I imagine maybe they are going to swap back over to their main support to be able to play a more brawl-style comp here, or maybe they are still trying to just try and match the Sigma, because it's not like it went horribly at times, but it's very clear that Whiteboy Primal are more experienced on this composition, and that they are, thus far as we've seen, better at this composition. So I'm really hoping that there's something left in the tank that Nocturne Red is wanting to pull out for Servasa.
I mean, the thing is that historically, Whiteboy Primal, we've got red team over here in our console tier, right? Historically dominant juggernaut of a team. Whiteboy Primal, that's the team in the EU, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they won last season with basically the same roster. They're basically a contenders roster here in our PC Open tier. So everyone is gonna be hard pressed to try and stand up to Whiteboy Primal just about. So Nocturne Red, stay on the Sigma, try and match Whiteboy Primal, or try and figure something else out.
Yep, we're going to see here in a moment what Nocturne Red is hoping to run, and with the fact that Deep is in right now, it looks like they're going to stick with this. Well, we'll see in a moment. Obviously, nothing is clear until those spawn doors fully open up, but Whiteboy Primal, I don't think they're changing off of a thing. Gucci might go to the Echo, but honestly, May's not a bad call here either. It's really good for first point. It's really good for those side points that are a little more pressed in, where that wall can manage to close off a lot of engagement spots. But looks like Nocturne Red is just going to run their own Sigma comp, and they're gonna run it slightly differently. They're gonna run this little, a faster variation of it, where Suleiman is going to be trying to go into this back line, I imagine, try to find picks over on the support line, or maybe Gillix if they're in a weird position, as we're to see them take over this hard right side by the staircase, and I really want to see how they want to do this, as Gucci's a little out of position right now, and Nocturne Red gonna be able to take a bit of positional advantage here at the top, just waiting for Whiteboy Primal to go up and make their move.
Yeah, first fight gets active here on Market, and Gillix under pressure already by Suleiman. Able to win this time, does not have the deficit of that 150 HP of the Tracer. But Opie gonna get traded out here by Captain Crash. The Rock Accretion not going to land for the side of Crow. So it is a 1-for-1 trade here going into this fight. And Gucci is going to put Whiteboy Primal up a player here. The Accretion comes out, don't get that extra overhealth from the Kinetic Grasp. And Whiteboy Primal are going to take the flip and get their percentage going.
I mean, Whiteboy Primal played that up pretty decently, but honestly, that was Nocturne's fight to win. I just think Opie ends up out of position there kind of early into the fight. They don't have the slide, don't have any abilities. They just ended up in that position. Maybe they got moved away by Captain. There's a small possibility, but right now, Nocturne's now going to be in a really tough position now that Whiteboy is set up properly with this May. They likely want to take the rotation on the far left and go staircase instead. And with that window being used, they have a perfect excuse to do it now. And the freeze is going to come out, and now Nocturne Red hoping to go in, but that's 4 frozen!
Freeze! It's 5 men! It's 5 men for Nocturne Red! They're frozen and they're dead! And I mean, an incredible blizzard from Gucci, and they're gonna clean it up onto Opie. I mean, Whiteboy Primal still making plays, Gucci specifically. I mean, doesn't matter what they play, it's dominant.
No, but at the end of the day, this is still kind of a good thing for Nocturne. That fight ended extremely quickly. They're going to be coming up on a boatload of ultimates, especially if this fight goes on late. And Gillix being down first, that's going to really open the door for these guys to really be able to push in and not worry so heavily about the angles.
Opie sliding up onto the top of the fence there. Flux coming out. You know, you think Lazy would want Okay, Lazy not gonna find a pick. The Rock will hit Ilpy, and Opie will clean up with the railgun. Opie, you know, coming back here, you know, looking better than they have the rest of the series. That was a great fight for the Sojourn.
Yeah, right now, Gillix gonna get pushed back a little bit. Looks like they're going to be able to survive, though. And now, it's gonna come down to this last fight coming up. The biggest thing right now is Suleiman having that blade nice and ready to go. Captain Crash does not have that beat as well. So if they manage to catch somebody out of position, or if they manage to get that Immortality Field out kind of early, it might end up being an easy blade for Suleiman. That's only if they can stop Charo from making what could be a fantastic clutch. They're gonna throw him in the corner, gonna send out the blade early. They're looking for those picks.
Yeah, they want everything. They're going to use all of the ultimates here. They're not going to find a pick with the Dragon Blade. Gucci's going to start it off, and Crow will be traded. But, you know, they want this point, and they're going to take it by any means necessary. If it costs 4 ults, it costs 4 ults. And Opie with 3 there to clean up Market.
This is the style that Nocturne should have been running from the very beginning. Suleiman looks very comfortable sitting over on this Genji, and I'm really questioning why this wasn't coming out sooner. This is clearly a comp that they are far more comfortable on. As you see Gillix going over to the Bastion now instead. They realize they're going to get constantly caught out of position on the Widowmaker, so now they're going to be playing this a lot more brawly with Captain over on that Lucio. And Opie gonna still find the first pick. Doesn't matter if you change it the style, they're still ready to go.
Yeah, Ilpy going down early here. Great headshot from Opie, and they're gonna look to find the Bastion. Will Lazy gets sent off the map, and it's a 2-for-2 trade here. Unfortunately for Nocturne Red, Gucci is still alive. That is one of the last players you want to have left alive. And Gucci, was that 3 or 4 for Gucci? I think it was 3 for the May. But you know, Temple's gonna go to Whiteboy Primal here early.
Yeah, and again, I think this is Nocturne Red shooting themselves in the foot. They had the advantage into that fight, and a lot of them hard-pressed on the right side to where the Bastion and Lucio were at, and Lazy just got themselves booped off of the map. So it's unfortunate for them, and now they probably want to come over here, try to use this Flux to force out the beat in the Immortality Field, but the Freeze is going to come out first, and it's going to catch a couple of members, and they're going to get burned away!
Yeah, 2 people go down for Nocturne Red. Opie does trade it in kind with one of their own. But, you know, without that Sigma, without that Baptiste, who, by the way, also used the amplification matrix there you're not gonna be able to find much footing.
Yeah, I mean, if
what's
I'm Nocturn Primal, ooh, like if I'm Nocturn Red right now, I don't know how winnable this point is with only having that flux when they have the beat. You might just want to try to force as many ults out as you can. Lazy gonna bring up and they're managing to find them. It's turned out now. This could go either way right now, Fletch.
It'll be 1-for-1 there. Flux from Lazy helping to take down Ilpy. And Nocturne Red, they're finding some footing here late in the fight on Temple. It's just Gucci left alive. Captain Prash was able to take down Rodri. Without Gucci there, Prash is no more than a pest, and they're gonna keep it going.
This next fight is going to be extremely important. Right now, Tro and Gillix, they have that combo ready to go. It is a notoriously difficult combo to deal with. The Flux into the Mortar Strike, it's so tough. Deep has to try to be able to get this beat online, meaning Nocturne might want to try to play this slightly aggressively, try to make sure they can get that ult online. Elsewise, they're going to be walking right into this combo, and you just see the one's going to come up. They're going to see if they do the follow-up, and here it comes. How many are they going to catch?
Here comes the two. It'll be a big Flux. Deep goes down. The Immortality field is blown up. Bully Man late in the fight. 2 down. Gonna pop the Dragon Blade, but goes down to Gillix behind him. And that will more than likely be Whiteboy Primal taking Temple to even up Suravasa.
Nocturne Red, they really try to go in with that blade. Suleiman, I think that's something you 100% hold on to. You're not fully in desperation mode yet. You still can give up 2 more points. I think at that point, you wanted to let Whiteboy Primal use a couple of these ultimates first and really come into this next point with the advantage, because you're not going to get there first. And oh no, Gucci, don't do him like this.
Blizzard. Gucci's gonna drop the Blizzard. The beat gonna come out from deep. I mean, it's a great play by the May. You know, I mean, just a heads-up play. Gucci knew where they were coming from and dropped the Blizzard, and that'll be 3 for Crow as the Flashpoint unlocks. They're gonna take this pretty easily here on Ruins.
Yeah, Whiteboy Primal realizing kind of quickly throughout this series thus far, or throughout this map more specifically, that Nocturne Red wants to try to control this pace with this faster style. That's why they switched over to that Lucio in the Bastion instead. That way, they can actually outpace Nocturne as much as they want to. So now, Whiteboy Primal, they have their window ready to match over on the side of Nocturne Red as well. It's going to come down to who uses this properly coming up here, as we're going to see both of them come out at about the same time. Both of them looking for the pick right now as Captain gets low. They have that beat ready to go now. Lazy getting low as well. The first pick needs to be found here shortly on the side of Nocturne Red.
Yeah, Rodri getting very, very low. Crow locked in a duel with Lazy. Gillix is so low. The overclock used by Opie. I mean, gonna get low. The beat in response from Captain Pratt to keep the team alive. The Flux finds a final blow. Up and down. 1 up, 2 down. That's gonna be it for that fight. And Nocturne Red have a decision to make. Do you touch or do you just go next?
It's gonna be really tough with the fact that they're gonna have that rock. They're going to have the wall. They're going to have boobs. They're going to have everything. The only person that has a realistic way of touching this is maybe Deep, maybe Suleiman if they bring somebody around, but I think they're just going to back up, and yep, they're going to back up. This point's going to be on the left side regardless, so they are going to be able to set up on this point first, regardless of the fact that Whiteboy Primal won that previous fight, so it's going to work out really well for them in the end, especially when you have that Flux and there's no beat on the other side to be able to save you from it, so it's really going to come down to Nocturne Red try to take this engagement quick with this Gravitic Flux. Try to catch some people out. Try to force a lot of cooldowns. They can win this fight. They just have to use this Flux properly.
Yeah, and look what Gucci has in the back pocket. The Blizzard, which has been so good for them. Gonna come out once more. And, you know, it's just another electric Blizzard from Gucci to help clean up Nocturne Red quickly. And they're gonna take the fight and the first point on Gardens.
You know, this is a heck of a scenario right now where Nocturne Red, they went to this comp, like I said, so that they can start controlling the pace of these engagements. And now, they're just not. Whiteboy Primal has completely taken over. They're using the ults first. They're taking engagements first. Like this right here, going for the Mortar Strike, hoping to find somebody out of it. Nobody getting caught, though. Nocturne Red has to just transition a point. Get ready with this blade, because they don't have the ability to stop it. Just come together. Make it happen. You need to win this fight to start turning momentum.
Rodri goes down. Rodri goes down. They don't have that amplification matrix anymore. And I think that the ice block from Gucci blocked the accretion from Crow, and the Dragon Blade to clean up is going to be good for Nocturne Red. They're going to get a flip here, and Suleiman puts Gilix in the dirt with their own bullets.
They still know how to use a lot to do it, though. 3 different ults coming out from the side of Nocturne Red. They're only going to have that window, and potentially the overclock is Gilix going to go over to match that Genji instead. No longer on that Bastion, so they're going to be able to take a pretty fast engagement here. No ults quite to their name, but they've been really doing good without those ultimates. So now it's down to Nocturne Red to take this engagement first. Use this window properly.
Getting aggro, Gilix dashes straight through Suleiman. Does get traded, so both Genjis no longer in the fight here. But it's going to be Crow and Gucci, because who else would it be? The flux out from Crow, maybe a bit of an overcommitment, but does find Lazy there. And Whiteboy Primal will need one more fight.
Listen, the way these fights have gone so far, I think all you have to do is Whiteboy Primal, wait for Nocturne Red to start pushing up, go aggressive in with this beat, try to get Opie, because they have no way to stop themselves from being taken down once they use this overclock. So if they take this fight first, they should be able to secure that in the series. But first of all, Nocturne got to try to touch his point. The beat coming up, here comes the aggression.
99%, they get the touch, but Captain Flash and Crow have already gone down. The Blizzard from Gucci does get eaten up by Lazy, but 3 people dead to make that 4. Can we make it 5 here? Crow will get the final blow here in the map, and that will be it. Whiteboy Primal takes Survasa, and they take the series over Nocturne Red.
Yeah, it seemed like Nocturne Red, during the beginning of that map, had a lot of momentum going their way. They realized what kind of comp they wanted to run on the Sigma style, and they ended up going with something that can play a little faster. Whiteboy Primal, being the team that they are, they instantly recognized this after that round, and they decided to go over towards a comp that could also move fast, one that could keep up. That's why we saw them transition over to Lucio in the Bastion. And doing that, it ends up working out phenomenally for them. They knew exactly how they wanted to try and play that and how to counterplay it. Because you can be good at 1 or 2 comps in Overwatch, but these fantastic teams, they can counterplay. They can take your pace and turn it around on you and make the fight their own. And that's what we saw Whiteboy Primal did throughout all 3 of these maps, throughout all this series. They are a phenomenal team thus far. Clearly contenders players in the EU. So far, a very impressive team that still has a lot of matches to go, but they won their first one here very decisively.
I mean, yeah, they looked great all day. I want to point out, you know, we were talking about him for so long all day. Gucci just, I think, Gucci was the best player in the lobby at almost all times during this match. I mean, the Echo or the Mei, either one, you know, 2 characters that are played entirely differently. I mean, Gucci was a playmaker. And everybody else, you know, everybody played, you know, very, very well. But, you know, you allow Gucci to be that electric playmaker that they are. And the rest of you just have to clean up on the damage that is dealt, whether it's, you know, following up on a pick that Gucci made or, you know, just the damage. I mean, Whiteboy Primal made every second count when Gucci was dominating. And Crow on the Sigma, you know, great fluxes left and right. And then Gilix, you know, like we said, stepping in for a missing player here onto the DPS role, usually a flex support. So, I mean, everybody stepped up and they made the plays they needed to make. So, good shouts to Whiteboy Primal.
Yeah, definitely so. And that's the scary part right there. This is the fact that they came in with someone who typically does not play the role that they played today. They came in and played DPS instead of the flex support. That brings in the question is, how terrifying is this team when they have their genuine hit scan in? We technically, for what we know, didn't see them at 100% today with that person out. I think this person's probably very comfortable being in the environment. Gilix still did a really good job. They managed to kind of play on their own a little bit without being that punished. And I don't know if that says more about Gilix's skill than the skill of Nocturne Red, but we do have to give just a slight bit of nod over to the people on Nocturne Red, especially Suleiman, who came alive very late into that series. You know, it was kind of tough those first 2 maps, of course, but seeing them on the Genji, they managed to get very aggressive. They managed to catch Gilix out quite a couple of times and force them to switch the comps. That's probably the biggest reason why they had to swap off that Widow, is because of Suleiman. So a fantastic job to them. But That's what it comes down to. What one person can't make the team. While we had one fantastic person on Nocturne, you know, we had 5 fantastic people on the side of Whiteboy Primal, and 5 versus 1.
Yeah.
I think you could do that math there.
It doesn't work out. I do think Nocturne Red, they got better as the series went on. I will give them that credit, right? I think that they could probably make some noise in this lower bracket moving forward. But unfortunately, for Hunter and I, for right now on this EU stream, that's gonna do it for us. Once again, thank you to the Maverick Travel Center for hosting me today for this incredibly scuffed stream. I think I had a lot of fun, and it went a lot better than I expected it to be honest with you. But thanks to everybody for watching. Hunter, do you have any closing words for the stream?
We are not sponsored by this gas station. I feel like that needs to be said out the rip
yeah,
here. But just not setting up a sponsorship deal.
Yeah, well, they just nobody came out and yelled at me for being loud. So you know, I'll give that to them. They were nice about letting me stay here with my car troubles. So yeah, fun stream. I had a lot of fun. It's a little warm, so I kind of want to go inside. So that will do it for us tonight. Whiteboy Primal takes down Nocturne Red 3-0. Thank you to everybody who came out and watched tonight. And you can catch us later tonight with some NA streams. So come check that out. And it should be a good time. So with that, good night, everybody.